Battle of the Network Stars won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about One Crazy Summer. Oh, yeah.
It's been a crazy summer.
It has. It's been a crazy hot summer. A lot of crazy but not funny stuff has been happening.
Yeah, crazy not in a good way. Yeah.
But this is funny. We saved the best for last, in my opinion. Watching this again, this is definitely one of my all-time favorite comedies.
Yeah.
And I've realized it will 100% put me in a good mood. It is one of my feel-good movies.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much joy to this movie, so much fun. It's like a Mad Magazine come to life. It's one bit after another bit. All the bits pay off. It's stupid and silly and funny, and it works. Everything that Savage Steve Holland learned from making Better Off Dead, it just is amplified. It's better. I love that movie, but I just think that this is his opus, man. This is his.
I would agree.
This is his Citizen Kane, baby.
He was definitely hitting his peak here, and it's really ironic that the movie puts you in such a good mood since not everybody on the movie was happy to be there.
Well, most people were.
Oh no, most of them were, and their collective joy outshone the negativity from a certain person.
Sure, we'll go into that. But man, what a fun movie.
Oh, it's so good. I didn't realize how much I'd forgotten about this movie and how much I just love this movie.
Well, like you were saying, there's so many bits in this movie that you think they're from other movies.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't fit that many bits into a single movie.
But you can.
And
it's One Crazy Summer.
It's One Crazy Summer. Although, man, this has been an earworm month for me.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead, yeah. E.G. Daily.
E.G. Daily. As much as I love her, she...
Better Off Dead.
Oh, come on. I just got it out of my brain. and then there was something from... Oh, then there was the Baby Doll from Tapeheads.
Yeah.
And then now it's the Don't Look Back.
Oh, God, really?
Don't look back, babe. Don't look back. Oh, and that
got
one
stuck in your head?
That one in the... they take your body, they take your soul, and they don't even give you no rock and roll. I realized something. This is a little bit of a speed bump, and I know we're at the beginning of the show, but I want to get this out of the way. I did in the movie Carbuncle. I got to write and record a song for my character. I played a guy, and in the 80s, he had this really bad band, so I got to write a really bad song with a really great musician, Carell Tunador, who I think ended up touring with the Goo Goo Dolls and some other people. Wow. Yeah, really talented guy. But I got to write this song called Deep in My Soul.
Oh, Lord.
And it was supposed to be bad, and quite frankly, it was awful. But watching this movie again, I realized how much Demi Moore's musical career impacted that song, because my thing is, if you look deep down in my soul, all you see, baby, is rock and roll.
Oh, God.
Rock and roll!
God. All right.
But yes, check out Carbuncle streaming.
I believe it's on Amazon Prime.
It might be.
All right, well, take yourself back to 1986.
Yeah.
April 13th, the first child born to a non-related surrogate mother is born.
And that child
was Adam neither of us. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be hilarious. Fantasyland's Mindbender derails and kills 3 people. Fantasyland is an indoor amusement park in Edmonton, Canada. It's the second largest mall in North America.
Gotta get your deaths in there. Gotta get your deaths.
You know how hard it is to find news from back in the day that's not about devastation?
I'll give you this, though. You had life with surrogation.
Yeah.
And you had death with a horrible accident in Canada.
In Canada.
Oh, that was bad, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That was a bad one.
June 23rd, Eric Thomas develops Listserv, the first email list management software.
Ugh.
Yeah. For all you nerds out there.
Yeah. All you email nerds.
Essentially when email was really able to be accessed by everyone. August 6th, One Crazy Summer is released in theaters.
Nice. During the summer. Well, at the very end of the summer.
Yeah. Near the end of summer. So, One Crazy Summer is another Savage Steve Holland film. It's his second with John Cusack and Curtis Armstrong. There's a famous story about how Cusack saw a screening of Better Off Dead and was horrified walking out 20 minutes into the screening.
Yeah, we spoke about this.
Yeah.
a few times.
Holland thought Cusack left to use the phone, but he never came back. The next day, Cusack approached Savage Steve Holland and told him that he didn't trust him as a director, and if he could, he would dump One Crazy Summer. But he signed contracts and had to do the film.
It's the exact conversation you want to have with an actor right before you start production.
He literally told him point blank, I have lost all faith in you as a director.
Wow.
It is so cruel and so mean because the movie Better Off did really well.
Yeah, and he was really great in it and came across great. But we're watching it with eyes of now, which, you know, a soft, sensitive young man is a good thing.
Yeah.
But back then, you know, a soft, sensitive guy was a P word.
Yeah,
you know, and it was like,
yeah.
you know, everybody wanted to be tough. Everybody wanted to be Maverick from Top Gun, and everybody wanted to be, you know, shooting, and blah blah blah. Nobody wants to be a sad sack trying to kill himself. But it was he did come around later, and
he has since then, yes. But it turns out that this whole story actually happened in Cape Cod at a theater in Hyannis right before the production of One Crazy Summer started.
Oh man!
They'd gotten the bulk of the cast and crew out to prep, and the screening of Better Off Dead, which hadn't come out yet, was set up to bond the cast and crew together.
Oh man!
Which what I get from everything I read and everything I saw, that it really worked for the majority of the cast.
Of course it did.
Everyone had a great time making it. You talked to Curtis Armstrong, you talked to Bobcat, you talked to Joel Murray. Like, they all had such a great time making this movie.
Yeah, well, it looks like it. I mean, you can feel the fun. That's what makes this movie a joy.
Yeah.
Because you can tell there are certain movies where you can tell that the vibe is joy, and sometimes you can tell that the vibe is the opposite of joy.
Oh, yes.
And it comes through because you can't hide. You can be neutral and hide that kind of stuff, but if you're having a really great time or a really bad time, that's really hard to hide.
Yeah. Savage Steve Holland spent his summers at Hyannisport every summer growing up. He'd only been in Nantucket once, and according to him,
we got off the boat, walked a loop around the island, and got back on the boat.
So he had spent maybe an hour on Nantucket before deciding to set the entire film there.
It's a small little island.
It is. Nantucket is very welcoming. It was very welcoming to the cast and crew. It's the smallest county in Massachusetts, and 85% of the county is water.
Have you ever been?
No.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I've been off season. Which is the way to go.
Which is the best way, because it's only...
Nothing's open, but it's like...
but still,
there's 50,000 people running around.
Normally there's 14,000 people, but during the summer there's upwards of 60 to 70,000 people on the island. And it's only 45 square miles, so it's like this, like packing sardines in a can, man.
Yeah, it's like going to the Hamptons. You know, everybody in Mass... It's sweet. It's so hot in Boston proper during the summer that you got to get near some water or you'll just burst into flame.
Because of the success of Better Off Dead, which earned $10.3 million off of a $3.5 million budget.
Nice.
The studio gave Savage Steve Holland $9 million for One Crazy Summer. I do want to point out that I accidentally misspelled studio as stupid.
Well, I was like, same thing, baby. It's like a synonym.
I literally, rereading, I read out loud. Okay.
I was going to let it slide. You've got to be proud of me. I was going to let it slide.
Thank you. I heard some people think that because of Cusack's reaction that the executives didn't like Better Off Dead either. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they were super happy with the cut of it, but they released it and it made like 3 times its budget. So
they were happy.
Whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave him $9 million and said, make another movie.
Yeah. All they're happy about is if it makes money. They don't really care.
Of course.
You know, they're about the green, baby. And I'm not talking about eco.
Yeah, and if you give someone that's successful more money, they should make more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, he put that money to good use.
Oh, no, he did. He totally did. All that money's on the screen, for sure.
Yeah.
They cast John Cusack as Hoops McCann.
Hoops.
Hey, Hoops.
Hey, Hoops.
Hoops McCann is actually named after the protagonist in Steely Dan's song Glamour Profession from the Gaucho album, who was introduced as a basketball aficionado.
His name was Hoops McCann. He was a basketball
I don't think I've ever heard the song. Okay.
It's not the song.
I don't think I've ever heard the song before.
All Steely Dan songs pretty much sound alike.
I don't mind Steely Dan. Actually, a friend of ours, her dad was their studio engineer for most of the Steely Dan albums.
Steely Dan's great, baby, but you can tell when it's a Steely Dan song.
Well, of course.
They got that Steely sound.
They got that distinct sound.
That Steely Dan sound. But yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Savage Steve Holland admits that he sucks at basketball, hence why Hoops McCann is awful at basketball during the whole movie
Which
until
is great.
until it really counts.
Yeah.
And then it's
Well, there's so many great cheesy payoffs that in any other movie
yeah.
would just not work. But
Yeah.
he can make this stuff work like nobody else, I think.
He is, if you haven't watched some interviews with him now, like he is still such a positive, happy, joyous man.
That's the thing. The earnestness
Yeah.
that he brings to his films is contagious. And it's, like I said, stuff that you would think would be cheesy or way too goofy or way
Yeah.
too dumb. He makes it work because it's just him, I think. I think he's a
great,
force.
and he surrounds himself with great people. There's a great interview, a Zoom interview that this guy on Nantucket did during the beginning of the pandemic, and it's Bobcat Goldthwait and Curtis Armstrong and Joel Murray and Savage Steve Holland.
Oh.
And listening to the four of them talk, it was like the 35 years had never passed.
Oh, I bet.
Like, it was so much fun to hear them just riff on each other and like just, it was so good.
Where is that?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, okay, I got to watch that.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. Cusack, just to show how much he was not happy with Savage Steve Holland, he did Hot Pursuit right after this film.
Right after this film.
Yes, it was literally shot right after this. This was his response, apparently, was to go do Hot Pursuit.
Well,
Reference our Hot Pursuit episode. if
we
you
have
wanna see
We have
why.
a difference of opinion on Hot Pursuit. But look, I will not put Hot Pursuit in the same category as the Savage Steve Holland films,
No,
or even
no.
Tapeheads. It's
No.
it's dangling near the
it's
bottom of the
fine.
Cusack comedies. But I like it because it has a place in my heart.
To quote someone I know, it's fine.
Yes, it's fine.
So Cusack really broke out with Say Anything in 1989, his last teen romance comedy that he did, and then became everyone's heartthrob in Say Anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was huge. Since doing Hot Tub Time Machine in 2010, he's been doing as much direct-to-VOD as he has theatrical releases.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the nature since 2000, because literally after Hot Tub Time Machine, he did a string of like 4 or 5 like direct-to-VOD, and it's like I don't know if it was just the nature of the business at the time or if this is just what he was choosing to do.
Just maybe needed some cash.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
I mean,
look, if you could, a lot of these straight to VOD things, you get paid a lot of money for a little bit of work. It's not going to be something you're probably going to put on your resume.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it is definitely cash, and it happens, and it's not. I haven't seen any of these movies, so like I can't say if he's good in them or not. I would hope that he's good in whatever he does.
Another reason why some of these bigger stars do these VODs is because it strengthens their international
Yes, they're
Q rating,
their
if you will.
cachet.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the same reason why he did that international
there was
Chinese
that
movie
Chinese
with
movie,
Jackie
yeah.
Chan,
It
and
was
he was
only
like the-
released in China. It was not released in the States.
There's
yeah.
reason. I saw it actually. I mean, it wasn't.
did you?
It wasn't
Oh, it
released
was- it was.
theatrically, but it was
Right,
released
right.
on video or
Video
on
or VOD or whatever.
whatever streaming or something. Because I did watch it.
Yeah.
It's not horrible, but it's just
Yeah.
there's those movies, these international movies, like the one that they did with Matt Damon. Another.
Oh God, yeah.
The Great Wall, I think it was.
Great Wall, yeah.
They just tried to jam too many things in there, and a lot of the different, the American way of filmmaking or the Chinese way of filmmaking,
Yeah.
they don't always jibe together. So
Right.
you get kind of this weird amalgam of other things that just seems odd.
Yeah, everything's off.
But John Cusack's in it, or Matt Damon's in it, so you're even more a little bit
a
disturbed.
little weird, yeah. He can currently be seen in Utopia, which I believe is getting a second season.
I hope so.
I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it. I've heard from Jim. It's very good.
Oh, it's real good. It's got a great cast. It was a really cool performance by Cusack playing kind of this,
Okay.
enigmatic
Yeah.
software engineer kind of thing,
Okay.
kind of the bad guy, but it's a cool show. I think
All
Prime.
right.
I think it's on Prime.
Yeah, it's on Prime. It is on Prime. Demi Moore as Cassandra Eldridge. In 1978, Moore signed with the elite modeling agency, then enrolled in drama classes after being inspired by her next-door neighbor, 17-year-old German actress Natasha Kinski.
People forget about Natasha Kinski.
Yeah.
She was the biggest thing for a while.
It's weird to me because I wasn't really aware of her being the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And that people talk about it. I'm just like, really?
Oh yeah, Cat
She
People
was in
and
Species, right?
no, that's
who am I
Natasha
thinking of?
Henstridge.
Oh, I'm thinking Henstridge.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, Natasha. Okay.
But Kinski was really big. She did this movie, I think when she was like 17 or something, this German movie.
Okay.
Was she German? What is she?
Yeah, she's German.
I think it was a German movie she did at 17. Some sort of sexy thing, and that kind of brought
Yeah.
her attention to her. And then she, crossed over here and became a pretty big star for a while.
Oh,
She was like super sexy. She was
Yeah,
the really,
yeah.
the
She's
hot.
an attractive young lady.
Yes. But she's a very good actor as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. In August 1979, at age 16, I always say that wrong. It's Demi. Demi Moore met musician Freddie Moore, who was married at the time and leader of the band Boy at the Troubadour.
The True, baby.
Yeah, the old Troub. I love that place.
Yeah.
My favorite music venue in LA. They moved in together, lived in an apartment in West Hollywood. Demi co-wrote 3 songs with Freddie Moore and appeared in the music video for their selection, It's Not a Rumor, performed by his band, The New Cats.
The New Cats and you.
And yeah, that's how new they are.
That was like the new shoes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you, SHOOZ,
Yeah.
I think.
New shoes.
They had a great song. But I can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know the New Cats at all, so I have no idea.
That's not New Cats. That's New
No,
Shoes.
I know, I realize, but I'm just saying, as I'm trying to keep us on track.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
they're not.
know
They
who
were
the New
married,
Cats
were
are.
they? Were they married?
They never got. Oh, they did get married.
So she took his name, or
she took his name, yeah.
So she's not Demi Moore. She's Demi something else.
Yes,
but she's been Demi Moore since she married.
since she was like 16.
They married
She
when
has a
was
really
16.
long, screwed up history. Like her father left before she was born, has gotten remarried, and then has other kids that she does not, like step siblings or half siblings that she doesn't talk to. She doesn't talk to her father. She pretends he doesn't exist. Her mother got married to a guy shortly after she was born. Demi found this out by looking at their marriage certificate and realizing it was 9 months after she was born. And she goes, "Oh, so this isn't my dad."
Oh, so they tried to pass him off as
Yes.
a pop. Oof.
Eventually, they got divorced and remarried, and then divorced and remarried again. And then I think they were in a separation, and then her stepdad killed himself
Oh my God.
when she was like 13. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was
no wonder she
yeah.
wanted to get out of there and
yeah.
get married.
And she moved around a lot. Like she couldn't. She has a weird, strange history. And, yeah.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
But she's very great, and she's had a very good career. But yeah, she had a rough childhood.
Yeah.
Although she does continue to get royalty checks for all her songwriting work she did with Freddie Moore between 1980 and 1981.
I'm sure those bring back good memories. 23 cents. Ugh, I
Yay! She made her film debut with a brief role in the 1981 teen drama Choices, directed by Silvio Narazano.
I think I saw that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd never heard of this. Narazano directed Georgie Girl in 1966 and Loot in 1970. Apparently, they were very highly regarded. Her second film feature was the 3D sci-fi horror film Parasite in 1982, for which director Charles Band had instructed casting director Johanna Ray to
Find me the next Karen Allen.
Parasite is set in a dystopian post-apocalyptic future in which the United States has been taken over by a criminal organization which unwittingly creates an uncontrollable deadly parasite and sets it loose on the population. The movie is as bad as that sounds.
Yeah, I probably saw it.
Charles Band would go on to direct Trancers in 1985.
No, I saw that.
And Evil Bong with Tommy Chong in 2006, along with a slew of other awful movies before and after.
I tried to watch
Evil Bong.
Evil Bong.
Yeah.
I could not.
Love Tommy Chong.
I love Tommy
Not worth
Chong,
it.
too.
Not worth watching that movie. Moore then joined the cast of the ABC soap opera General Hospital, playing the role of an investigative reporter until 1983. Her commercial breakthrough came in Joel Schumacher's yuppie drama St. Elmo's Fire in 1985, brought her a bunch of recognition. Because of her association with that film, Moore was often listed as part of the Brat Pack, a label she felt was demeaning. Moore progressed to more serious material with About Last Night in 1986, co-starring Rob Lowe, which marked a positive turning point in her career. As Moore has said that following its release, she began seeing better scripts. So About Last Night came out in July of 1986, just a month before One Crazy Summer. Demi Moore has gone on to have an outstanding career as an actor and a director now. She obviously had her big break was in Ghost. That's what really shot her up to complete total stardom.
Oh yeah, and then she was the biggest thing forever for a while.
But she's partlayed that into like directing and she's
producing.
She has a great she's a production company. Like she has a great career. Curtis Armstrong is Ack Raymond.
Yeah, one of my
old
absolute
Ack.
favorite character actors ever.
Oh, Curtis Armstrong's so incredible.
If you look at Better Off Dead or Revenge of the Nerds or any of the other things that he's done, this performance is so He's such a sweet, innocent, layered.
He's so meek and just
But
like...
not meek.
But yes,
He's
yes.
sensitive.
Sensitive,
But
yeah.
he's still strong, and he's still brave, and he
Yeah.
rescues that guy. He just doesn't want to hurt anybody or anything.
Plays that part so well.
So good. And it's such a great chemistry between him and Joe Flaherty as his dad.
Yes. Speaking of him rescuing the guy, Curtis Armstrong almost drowned during
God.
that scene. He apparently was wearing these big white socks.
Oh, no.
And he took his shoes off and he jumped in, and the socks just soaked up the water, and they slid down his legs, so they were caught on his ankles, and he couldn't kick right because they were just flopping through the water. He was very much like, it was bad. Like, I almost died.
Well, that would have been the worst. That would have been a dark day in our history if we would have lost Curtis Armstrong.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. He had a cut subplot in Better Off Dead. Ak becomes friends with a horseshoe crab called Stymie that he finds on the beach. It becomes his best friend.
Oh, that's cute.
The plastic horseshoe crab, he would walk along the beach and the horseshoe crab would follow him.
Aww.
And the plastic horseshoe crab that was walking along with him was created by his future wife's brother, which he didn't know at the time.
His future brother-in-law.
He'd met her, his future brother-in-law. He'd met her 10 years later, but they were all raised in Cape Cod, and he worked on the movie. Yeah.
That is one crazy summer.
That's crazy. Yeah. You can actually see Stymie, the horseshoe crab, dancing in the Dewdrop Inn scene.
Oh.
When they're all dancing together.
I'll have to
He's
check that
dancing
out.
with them, yeah.
A little Easter egg.
I've never noticed it, so
Neither have I.
definitely going to have to watch it again.
Man, Curtis Armstrong, to this day, is just still killing it. Like we talked about before, he's Metatron on Supernatural.
Oh, he has such a good career. His cockroach on Ezekiel the cockroach on Doom Patrol.
Oh, yeah.
He's so fantastic.
Well, he's also one of those guys that, guys our age just adore him. And now that they're making movies, they want to put him in.
Yeah.
It's nostalgia plus talent plus just being a lovable guy. I mean, I hope he works and keeps going until he's 110 years old.
Eventually, he's just going to be doing voiceover stuff, but he'll be able to do voiceover stuff for a long, long time.
I hope so. Curtis Armstrong, if you're listening, I love you, man.
When Cusack, Demi, Joel, Bobcat, Tom Villard, and Curtis would go out during off times, they would go out drinking and eating together. Curtis Armstrong was the one receiving the most attention for his part in Revenge of the Nerds. The locals would shout, "Booga! Booga!" all the time at him. Bobcat Goldthwait as Egg Stork. Bobcat made his film debut in the 1984 film Massive Retaliation as redneck Ernie Rust. The plot of Massive Retaliation. Have you seen this movie?
I don't. I probably have, but it does not ring a bell.
When word of nuclear war between the USA and Russia in the Middle East comes out, 3 families leave their homes in the city and head to a survivalist outpost and apparently meet Bobcat Goldthwait, who's a redneck there that is trying to kill them or something.
Nice.
If you want to see it, it's available on the Roku channel in Plex, but it looks real bad.
Well, probably. Bobcat Goldthwait is another guy that's just magic. He started out so differently than where he comes from. I mean, he was kind of pigeonholed by that character for a while. You know,
it was the character. Yeah.
He would make good living, ever since he did like Police Academy and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But he would, he did Hot to Trot.
Yeah,
that awful movie.
The movie
was
with
he
the
a horse? Somebody was like a talking
he was
mule
the
or something.
He was
He was the guy that was betting. I don't know.
I don't remember.
It doesn't even.
He is
bear
associated
any sort
with
of,
Hot to Trot somehow.
Yes, and it was not hot, nor did it trot.
No,
but I've always been a fan of his. I mentioned before that I've seen him I've seen his stand up a few times, and his stand up is brilliant, and he is a absolute brilliant filmmaker.
Yeah. He broke out in Police Academy 2, the first assignment in 1985. He wasn't in the first one. I forgot that he was not in the first movie. No. He was also in Police Academy 3, Back in Training, which was released earlier in 1986, before One Crazy Summer.
The first Police Academy movie is great. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And it goes super downhill, super fast.
Very bad. Yeah. Savage Steve Holland let the cast improvise a lot, making it much more collaborative. This impressed Bobcat, and he came up with a lot of jokes for the film. He improvised the whole little fat boy story.
I didn't tell you about this little fat boy. Everybody made fun of him.
Is the little fat boy you, Egg?
I just beat him up. Why are you so fat?
He apparently came up with this. They told it to Savage Steve Holland. He ran it by Curtis Armstrong. and Savage Steve Holland loved it. So they literally just went and set up cameras and shot it.
Great. That is great. This is the kind of movie making that is so much fun.
Yeah.
Because you have so many ideas and you have the freedom of a good budget. It's probably the biggest budget Savage Steve has ever worked with.
Probably.
You have the freedom to do this kind of stuff. And if you have such great comedic actors, such as Bobcat and Curtis and
Joel
Murray, Cusack probably.
Cusack's great too, yeah.
But they come, and you give them a safe space to have fun, and everybody's having fun. It's like Judd Apatow. I think he creates that kind of environment where you can just be safe and have fun. And probably, I bet you $100,000 that Apatow is a huge fan of Savage Steve Holland.
Guarantee it. I guarantee it. Bobcat calls that voice in the movie his Grover voice.
Yeah, Grover.
He's not always understandable, but it's very funny. The two movies playing at the drive-in, Hemorrhoids from Hell and Date Night Massacre, were both shot by Bobcat Goldthwait.
It is so apparent. Looking at his stuff now, it is so apparent. Especially that guy's like, oh, I want to go with you. Oh, yeah. That grosso killer guy on the...
The date night massacre, yeah. The thing is apparently Savage Steve Holland was just like, hey, we don't have any rights to any movies. We need to shoot something. So he just gave him a camera and said, go shoot something. And Savage Steve Holland was super impressed because he used all this smoke and all this stuff that he was like, I never even thought of any of this.
Yeah, no, Bobcat Goldthwait is an incredibly talented guy. And it's actually pretty smart that he kind of introduced himself as this moronic Grover character because everybody underestimated him. And then when he came out of the gate as the genius that he is, everybody's like, whoa.
Bobcat Goldthwait? What?
It's Bobcat. Bob Goldthwait.
Bobcat would go on to write and direct his first feature in 1991, Shakes the Clown, in which he would play the lead as well.
I thought that was later. I didn't think it was 91.
91. And if it wasn't for Savage Steve Holland, I don't think he would have gone into the... I think eventually, probably, but I think he got... Because Savage Steve Holland was like, hey, go do this thing. He enjoyed it, and he said, all right, I have ideas, I'm going to do this. And Shakes the Clown is amazing.
Nobody does dark comedy like Bobcat Goldthwait.
He has only written and directed 4 features. He has directed a bunch of documentaries, which I was surprised by.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, mostly about comedians.
Good.
Yeah, but he did in 2006. He did Sleeping Dogs Lie. Do you remember Sleeping Dogs Lie?
Yeah, wasn't that the one about like somebody having a relationship with a German Shepherd?
She reveals to her husband or fiance that in college she had sex with a dog.
Yeah.
And the fallout of that.
That's all of his movies.
Yeah.
If you describe them, they sound horrific.
Yeah.
But if you watch them, nobody can make that stuff work but him. And
right.
that is the genius of Goldthwait.
Yeah,
he could take the most disturbing... World's Greatest Dad is my favorite Robin Williams movie.
Yeah.
And my favorite Robin Williams performance.
Yeah.
And it is so effed up.
It is very, very messed up. That came out in 2009. Robin Williams and Bobcat Goldthwait were very close.
Oh, yeah.
They toured a lot together and were on the stand-up circuit. And
well, they started out together.
Yeah.
They were friends from the beginning when they were both struggling young commies.
Right.
Comics.
Right. Comics, not comics.
Comics.
Well, I mean, he did God Bless America in 2011, starring Joel Murray.
I kind of remember that one.
Joel Murray is a terminal illness, and him and this girl both realize they hate the world, so they just go on a big murder spree.
I did not see that. I should.
It is available. These are all available on various streaming services. So if you do want to see them, I think God Bless America is on Canopy, which is if you have a library card, you can watch for free. But definitely check all these out because those 4 features, I'm going to rewatch these now.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're so brilliant and so good.
Just know that they're super, super dark. If that's not your gig, God bless you, that's fine.
If someone sleeping with a dog makes your stomach turn, don't watch Bobcat Goldthwait movies.
If you're watching somebody use their child's memory in a very inappropriate way, look, like I said, describing it makes it sound horrific, but watching was great. But again, if you're not into that really, really dark humor, you may want to stay away. But if you're into that stuff and you haven't seen it, you're in for a huge treat.
Joel Murray was cast as George Calamari.
Yeah, Joel Murray. He's the Murray brothers.
He is the youngest Murray brother, after Billy, as he calls him.
Billy.
Billy and
Brian Doyle Murray.
Brian Doyle Murray, and then they have another brother. There's another one, but I don't think he's in. I don't. If he's an actor, he hasn't done a lot.
He is. He was in Scrooged. He played.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
he's
right.
the dark hair.
Yes.
He played his brother in Scrooge. He's been in a few. He was in.
That's right. Yes.
He was in this movie. Not Men at Work, but it was like. It was Moving Violations, I think.
Moving Violations.
It's a very obscure comedy about going to a traffic school, and he was in that. It was back when like the Murrays, they would just grab any Murray they could.
Yeah.
And let's get a Murray, and we'll make a comedy with a Murray. And not to besmirch any of their talents, but
no, they're all funny.
Yeah,
I mean they're all funny.
But Brian Doyle and Bill are the best known.
Yeah.
And
Joel, One Crazy Summer was the first thing that he ever auditioned for. He literally showed up with an overnight bag, expecting to do the audition in Cape Cod and then go back home to New York. And they cast him, and he literally stayed for 6 weeks. He literally was like, "I stole clothes from the wardrobe because I didn't have any clothes."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Jeremy Piven was actually up for the part of George Calamari. And Joel thought he would get it because he was friends and former roommates with John Cusack.
Jeremy Piven?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been in a lot of movies together, he and Cusack.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah.
And, we'll get to Piven.
Yeah, we'll get to Piven. Savage Steve Holland really loved Joel's charm in his audition, so he gave him the part instead and then cast Piven as Ty, which we'll talk about later.
The thing about Joel is he's got that Murray thing, but he's the most kind of likable, charming. He doesn't have that kind of bite that Bill.
No,
like Bill is charming and great and amazing, but he's got that little air of condescension in a lot of his things. That is brilliant. But Joel has that aura, but without the ego. I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I mean, he's
the
just
most likable.
He's very
of the
likable.
Murrays.
Yeah, like he doesn't. You would want to sit down and hang out with him because he
Definitely.
seems, he's like, he seems like a fun guy. Like he's just cool.
He'd definitely give you a ride to the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Where Bill would.
Bill would probably say he would, and then he just wouldn't show up.
Yeah, he wouldn't return your calls.
That would be it.
You needed a ride to the airport?
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
How was your trip? There was a cut scene, which I have to talk about, when Teddy tells George that he's going to shove that moped up his butt. They actually created a moped that was coming out of George's butt and shot a scene with him going to his grandma's house with a moped coming out of his butt.
Good Lord.
A WB executive said,
"That's the most vile thing I've ever seen in filmmaking."
Yeah, they literally made him cut it out.
It was Bob.
It was Bob. Bob was very
executive.
Yeah.
I was extremely taken aback by that. Mopeds do not belong in somebody's bottom. They belong on the road.
At the end of the movie, everyone's storylines had been tied up except for George's, so Joel suggested his final lines to Savage Steve Holland, and Kim Foster thought it was great. Do you remember? I don't remember exactly the lines.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, he's like,
he's
like, come on. When are we going to stop fooling around? When are we going to stop fooling around? It was just something like...
He was like, hey, when are we going to put all this tension behind
playing
us?
these games.
Stop playing these games.
Whatever it was, it was so out of nowhere, but it worked so perfectly.
It tied up his story really well, and Kim Foster's, and she thought it was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So she gave him...
the most incredible kiss.
He was still talking about it 35 years later. So,
well, she's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman.
She is. He would go on to have a long acting career, appearing in Shakes the Clown and God Bless America for Bobcat Goldthwait.
Nice.
He can currently be seen in the Starz TV show Heels about professional wrestling.
Really?
Which just got picked up for a second season.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Neither have I.
have to watch it now.
Neither have I. They cast William Hickey as Old Man Beckerstead.
William Hickey. Hi, I'm William Hickey. Yeah. The greatest voice of anybody ever.
Yeah. It's always amazing how they just say their name over and over again.
Yeah. That's the only way I get people to recognize.
He actually began his career as a child actor on the variety stage and made his Broadway debut as a walk-on in the 1951 production of George Bernard Shaw's St. Joan, starring Uta Hagen.
You know what's weird about him is he looks like a child who's an old man. If you really look at him,
he's kind of Benjamin Buttoning it a little bit.
Kind of, because he just looks like a little boy
he's just
who's
got such
old.
an odd look to him.
Yeah, but just such an amazing actor.
Oh,
so
incredible.
Funny and yet so scary, and yet, I mean, the guy can play anything.
He taught acting and appeared in hundreds of productions, mostly as a bunch of offbeat characters due to his voice and his look. He was actually coming off an Oscar nomination for Prizzi's Honor.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which Bobcat Goldthwait thought it was hysterical that an Oscar-nominated Oscar was asked to throw a lit cigar into the mouth of a Godzilla costume. Speaking of, Savage Steve Holland actually kept the Godzilla suit, put it in his attic, and it has since melted.
Oh, yeah. William Hickey was great. He plays. It's so funny too. When he's in his little wheelchair and he's going by, and the father and the son are like doing their plot. Oh, hello, Daddy.
Hey, Daddy.
Hello, Daddy. How are you, Daddy?
Hello, Granddaddy. Hello.
Oh, doing well, Daddy.
It's so funny because they make him seem so decrepit and bad, and then at the end he just stands up and he's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Well, he stands up and like stops him from doing the thing. He's like, "Friendship is bad."
Yeah, I mean, but it was such a great reveal. It's such a good movie.
Well, he is also such a great actor.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Or was.
Yes. Joe Flaherty is General Raymond Akak's dad.
I love him.
Oh, okay. He is best known for his work on the Canadian sketch comedy SCTV from 1976 to 1984, writing and acting.
Oh, God, I love that show so much. It was so... I dug Saturday Night Live, but I think I truly loved SCTV more, and I'll tell you why. Because it was its own... It was one... Did you watch SCTV?
No.
Okay, it wasn't a Saturday Night Live ripoff.
No, it came before. Well, no, I guess it was right about the same time.
What it was it was its own self-contained network. So they had like a network executive character. Like it was all making a show. So all the sketches were like shows made of this. So there's the whole behind the scenes thing.
Okay.
In front of the scenes, they were able to do a lot of like Saturday Night Live sketches with characters and stuff.
Right.
But they had this whole other element to it that there's nothing I love more than like a universe. You know, like a filmmaker. Like Kevin Smith, you know, all of his movies have some sort of connection with each other.
Yeah.
The Smog universe, I don't know what it's actually called. Or Stephen King, you know, all of his stuff in the universe.
Or like Tarantino. Like
anybody
he
that
references his own work.
They have their films take place in this alternate world,
right?
And I love that.
Yeah, it's great. I'll have to see if I can find SCTV somewhere because that sounds fascinating. I had no idea that was. I just thought it was a sketch comedy show.
And you know, you got Martin Short, you have Andrea Martin, you have John Candy, you have Joe Flaherty, you have
Eugene Levy. Wasn't he on
Eugene?
SCTV?
Yeah, Eugene Levy. You have Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
You have Dave Thomas. That's where Bob and Doug McKenzie came
founder
from.
of Wendy's.
Yeah. Yeah, he was hilarious. And then he was like, I got to make some burgers. But they're going to be square because I'm a funny guy.
Oh, he's from Canada.
Oh, yeah, going to make square burgers, eh? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, some of the greatest talent ever came from that show.
Curtis, Bobcat, and Joel, much like Jim, were huge fanboys of SCTV. Which, I mean, every time that Joe was performing, they had to do takes over again because they would just crack up laughing.
Well, because he's so serious. He's so good at doing that serious comedy where he's, you know, he used to play Dracula a lot on the show. I think he even played
Count
Dracula.
Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
He would do voices on the Ed Grimley show, you know, the cartoon that they had with Martin Short. The guy is magic, and the fact that he's not working anymore, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah. He made his feature film debut in 1979 with the Spielberg movie 1941.
Super underrated.
Yeah. He appeared in the 1980 movie Used Cars, written and directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Cult classic.
Yeah.
You got Kurt Russell selling used cars.
Yeah. It's a great movie. He made an appearance in Stripes and did VO for Heavy Metal in 1981. He also starred in Going Berserk in 1983 with John Candy and Eugene Levy, both SCTV alums.
Yeah.
In 2004, he joined the faculty of Humber College in Toronto, teaching a comedy writing course, and hasn't appeared in any work since then.
Yeah, he did his duty. If he doesn't want to work, he doesn't want to work. It's a shame for us because we're missing out on
He's brilliant.
an amazing comedic actor. But God, man, I want to go to that college now. I'm going to go to Toronto,
I don't know if he's still teaching there or not. I couldn't find any information if he was still teaching, but I would assume. 70s. I think he's 81.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's up there. So it's possible he just was like, hey, you know what? I'm retired. Whatever.
Good for him. I mean, he did his duty. He gave us a lot of incredible work, and it'll last forever.
Exactly. Mark Metcalf as Aguila Beckerstead, the son. He's best known for his role as sadistic ROTC officer Douglas C. Niedermeyer in the 1978 movie Animal House.
One of the most hateable people ever. Niedermeyer is one of the most brilliantly written nemesis
So good.
ever.
He later emulated that character in the 1984 music videos for the songs We're Not Gonna Take It and I Wanna Rock by the heavy metal band Twisted Sister.
Oh, man. Those videos had 10-minute shorts in front of them.
Oh, they're so great.
What are you listening to that music?
And they
It's
shot
so
it in a
great.
fisheye lens, so his nose was really prominent and everybody
Yeah.
looked weird. And then he would do his little bit, and then Twisted Sister would humiliate him for 3 minutes
Yes.
during the music part of the music video.
Bobcat Goldthwait actually also appeared in Twisted Sister music videos Leader of the Pack and Be Cruel to Your School,
Be cruel to your school.
which I just want to point out, cruel is spelled CHROOL and school is spelled SCUEL because they had to be different.
Hey, I think the skewel part is in reference to Brady Bunch, where
Yeah.
not Jan, who's the older one?
Marsha?
Marsha. Where Marsha would go, it's time to go to school. They'd say school really funny. Yeah. But they made fun of that too in the really underrated and very, very funny Brady Bunch movie.
Oh, yes. But definitely props to Dee Snider and Twisted Sister. I've always been a fan of
Me
his.
too.
Yeah.
I loved him as a kid. That was a good Twisted Sister was the perfect intro to metal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it wasn't super hard. You know, it's like I think my metal progression was Twisted Sister, Def Leppard, and then getting into like
Your like Iron Maiden.
get in Iron
the
Maiden
really heavy
and-
stuff.
yeah. Well, Kiss was my first, but I don't count
yeah.
Kiss necessarily as heavy metal.
Yeah.
Metal pop rock, I guess.
Kiss is really just a metal boy band, but that's for another day.
But back in the day, man,
Oh,
Kiss
no,
was
no,
like
totally.
parents' nightmare. They
Oh,
thought it was
yeah.
kings and Satan's knights in Satan's service,
Knights in Satan's service, yeah.
all these crazy rumors. It was like, if you Halloween's coming up, I'm going to give you a quick tip
Yeah.
on YouTube. Watch the Paul Lynde Halloween special. It will change your life. It is the weirdest, craziest, most amazing special you'll ever see. It was the first time Kiss ever appeared on television. And
Yeah,
to
it
see,
was like 74, I think. Yeah.
and to see Paul Lynde and Kiss doing bits. So you like the makeup, huh? We don't wear makeup. Oh, you're kind of scary. But oh my God.
They were Kiss is a very, very cultivated brand.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the greatest thing is the joke that went on forever with Gene Simmons. It's like, there's got Kiss coffins coming out, and you bury yourself in style with the Kiss coffins. We have Kiss condoms, you put them on, and you get to feel like you're in Kiss. And always get yourself some Kiss beverages to drink. They're sugar-free, and they're filled with... It's just everything Kiss,
Yeah.
Kiss.
Of course. So Mark Metcalf also appeared in 2 episodes of Seinfeld as the Maestro, if you remember that. He was fantastic in those episodes. He's appeared in dozens of TV shows and movies and can most recently be seen in A Stupid and Futile Gesture about the rise and fall of the magazine National Lampoon.
Great. It was a really fun
Came out
movie.
in 2018. Yeah, it was. I still haven't seen it yet, but I need to. I love Bill Hader, so I need to see it.
Yeah, and they make fun of the fact that they're all way too old to be playing those parts and stuff. I mean, they National Lampoon the National Lampoon movie, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one of the best bad guys ever.
Yeah, he's
probably a
Mark Metcalf.
lovely, lovely human being. Most
sure
of these
he
guys
is.
that play jerks are the sweetest. And I'd love to meet him because I'm always fascinated by people that play hateable people throughout their entire career.
Yeah.
Like so hateable that people literally were like, I hate you, man. Especially kids, watching those Twisted Sister videos
Oh,
would come up
yeah,
to him and be like,
yeah.
you're not cool, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I'm playing a part, moron. But but yeah, I'm always fascinated. Like, what is it like to just be so hated
Yeah.
for what but for
You get
you're
that
so
money.
good at what you do.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he got eaten by the rabid dolphin.
Rabid dolphin. Which didn't you do the research to
I
see if there would be?
do the research. We'll talk about it a little bit. We'll get to
All
it.
right, I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah, John Matuszak is Stain.
Yeah.
Which I really honestly, again, this is one of those things I don't remember the movie. I thought he was in the movie more, but he was
No.
only in that one scene, and that was
Yeah.
it. John was the first draft pick of the 1973 NFL Draft. He won 2 Super Bowls. He played a defensive end. His first major role, the guy was like 6'8". He was huge.
Oh, yeah.
His first major role was in the 1979 movie North Dallas 40 as a football player. He appeared in the movies Caveman, the Ice Pirates one-man force, as well as One Crazy Summer, but is frequently remembered as deformed captive Sloth in the Goonies, doing makeup which took 5 hours to apply.
Matuzak was great. He was one of those football players that always showed up on everything.
Yeah.
He... Have you ever seen the movie Caveman?
No, I don't think I have.
This is another one that we will do because it's very obscure. It's Ringo Starr.
Oh, God.
Starring with his wife, Barbara Bachman. I don't know. I think this might have been when they met.
Okay.
But he plays a hapless caveman, Ringo Starr, who
This sounds more familiar now.
basically like figures out fire and stuff, and Matuzak and the other guys are like the big, burly caveman, and there's all these clay dinosaurs, and there's a lot of stuff, jokes with dinosaur poop, a lot of poop. It's a really stupid movie, but I loved it as a kid because I love dinosaurs and stop motion stuff and poop jokes. But we'll definitely have to do it because it's just another one of those.
It sounds awful and amazing.
How did that get made? Ringo Starr in a caveman movie with John Matuzak.
Sloth would wear an Oakland Raiders shirt in some scenes during the Goonies. Matuzak played most of his pro football career with the Raiders, bouncing between Oakland and Los Angeles. He had numerous guest appearances in TV shows such as Perfect Strangers, MASH, The Dukes of Hazzard, Hunter, Silver Spoons, The A-Team, First and 10, and Miami Vice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was a heavy drug and alcohol user, which led to his death in 1989 at the age of 38 from acute propoxyphene intoxication, an accidental overdose of the prescription drug Darvocet. Kimberly Foster as Cookie Campbell. This was Kim's feature film debut.
Hey, Cookie.
She later appeared in Dragnet in 1987 with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd. You Can't Hurry Love in 1988 with Bridget Fonda. Love Bites in 1993, starring Adam Ant, which I've never seen this. I thought Love Bites was something else than I saw as Adam Ant, and I was like,
there is
not
something.
What I.
There is another Love Bites. Yeah.
Her last credit is on All My Children, the soap opera in 1995, and I do not know what she's doing now.
No, hopefully she's living a very happy and healthy and wonderful life.
It's very possible, she got married, had kids. I mean, a lot of actors do that.
She's so great in this movie because it's a very weird part. She's kind of a femme fatale.
Yeah.
She's with this guy, and she's with him just because he's rich. But like the funniest scene, the weirdest scene is when he's about to do his laps. I'm gonna do my laps, Dad. And she's standing there, and she's got her little leg kicked out and her head down like a little child, and he's like a little child, and he's like, come here, and then comes over and like he gives her a kiss and then boops her nose, and it's just, he's so childish, but she plays it so well. She's so good. And the reaction, another one of my favorite parts, is she convinces Hoops to go on a date with her to the drive-in.
Yeah.
And they have to get out of there. And there's a whole running gag with Akak's dad running the scout troop, teaching him how to do first aid. And they're running around. And he's like, okay, kids, here's the thing. There's a plane crash, and all these people, their guts and everything is coming out of them. It's disgusting, and they're going to fight you, and they're not going to want to have help, so you're going to have to help them, and you're going to have to do it. Boop. And so the kids are running around Nantucket with their little first aid outfits, and they come across John Cusack, and they're like, help him! And then they run over and basically turn him into a mummy, and then she comes out of the bushes, and they like turn over and like, help her! And it's just the funny, and her reaction to that is absolute gold.
My favorite scene, or my favorite bit with hers, was when he finally comes back at the drive-in with the popcorn, and it's this giant, like, 40-gallon bag, and he hands it to her, and then within, like, 10 seconds, he turns, and it's empty. And he's just like, you must have been hungry.
She's like, yep. She's just eating the last piece.
She's just eating the last piece and crumbles it up. It was just so ridiculous.
It was a garbage bag of popcorn. It was
so ridiculous. Matt Mulhern as Teddy Beckerstead. We just talked about Matt and Teddy. This was also his feature film debut. He was actually a Broadway actor appearing in Biloxi Blues, later reprising the part in the movie in 1988.
Nice. The Biloxi Blues.
He appeared in 96 episodes of the TV show Major Dad with Gerald McRaney.
Nice.
He wrote,
Simon and Simon.
Yeah. Major Dad was actually a really funny show.
Really? I never watched Major Dad. I always liked
It was
Gerald
from
McRaney.
88 to 92. It was in a weird time, but like it was funny. It was funny. It was about the army. He was like his second in command.
Gerald McRaney is so great. He was so great on Deadwood.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, I love him.
Matt Mulhern actually wrote and directed the 2000 film Dwayne Hopwood, starring David Schwimmer.
Oh, really?
Which I didn't know that. Yeah.
Savage Steve Holland is so great at finding douchey dudes.
Oh God, yes.
This guy and the whee from
Both of them. Yeah.
But what's beautiful about this is they're both complete a-holes, but different a-holes.
Yeah.
The overconfident, hey Blaine, that guy is just your typical high school popular D-bag, rich, gross guy. This is the rich, gross, never had to grow up, eternally childish, little boy, and this kid plays it so well. My favorite is he's like sitting there. He's like, I don't know. She's got those I don't know. What do you call them? Cornrows? And he's like got a piece of broccoli, like a little fake tree from the thing. And and the way his dad treats him.
I think this is a perfect example of how Savage Steve Holland grew as an artist between Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer, because in Better Off Dead, the bully is much more one-dimensional.
Sure.
And in One Crazy Summer, Teddy, you get to see those moments where like dad's mad at him and he just wants to make him happy, and like all this stuff that he gives him so much more depth, and it works so well.
You never see the motivation behind Blaine.
Yeah.
Blaine is just there to be an antagonist and to be a burr in the saddle of Cusack. But you're right. Teddy we get to see so much of Teddy's motivation and why Teddy's Teddy.
Right.
And it's, again, this is why this movie works so well, because it's got so much depth in a goofy little comedy. I mean, everybody's got kind of a deep story to them.
Yeah.
Whether it's Demi Moore and her uncle dying or
her. I think it was an uncle.
I think it was her uncle and trying to save the people, or Ak not wanting to go into the army and his dad disowning him, or the Stork brothers and what they're going through. Everybody's got something that makes them more than just a caricature or a joke. Like even the uncle who's waiting, years to win this $1 million from this radio show. There's so much going on with him. It's You're right.
That's one of my absolute favorite parts of One Crazy Summer is when Tom Villard, the Clay, comes back and he had just helped Teddy and he's got a bloody nose, and Bobcat Goldthwait looks at him and he's like, "Did Teddy hit you?"
Yeah.
Like it was the most like direct line, and it was just, you could see how much his brother meant to him.
Well, and also
it was so brilliant.
The performance. What's the kid's name that plays his brother?
Tom Villard.
Tom Villard's performance. Yeah. He's so sweet and he's so likable. And then it's a heartbreaking moment. Like the way he plays that, getting bullied, is so real. It is so real. And I think that just fueled Bobcat's rage, which is funny, but it's also so sweet.
Yeah.
These brothers love
so
each other.
good.
Yeah. There's so much love in this movie, mixed with cynicism and I mean, we'll get to the grandmother and stuff, but it is a perfect balance. Perfect balance.
Matt Mulhern continues to make appearances in TV and movies. He's still working today. Tom Villard, as we said, plays Clay Stark. He is known for his leading role in the 1980s series We Got It Made, about two bachelors that hire a maid.
Oh, yeah. That was really popular. I remember We Got It Made.
It was super weird. It ran for like 2 seasons and then went away. And then like 5 years later, they brought it back in syndication.
Yeah.
It was super weird.
Yeah. It was popular. He was a very popular guy.
Yeah. He made appearances in feature films Grease 2, Heartbreak Ridge, directed by Clint Eastwood.
He was great in that.
Yeah. My Girl with Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis. And Popcorn, the slasher movie, which I have never seen.
I remember Popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
And don't forget Macaulay Culkin was in My Girl.
Sure.
Oh, watch out for the bees. Man, I remember when they were like, oh, we have to put a warning because of all these, everybody, all these kids that love,
love bees. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because spoiler alert,
yes.
Macaulay Culkin gets beat to death.
Yeah,
They beat
well, he's
him.
allergic to bees.
Yeah, they
I
beat
mean,
him to
it's not-
death.
It's sad. It's a sad part of the
Eh,
movie.
it's all part of life.
Yeah. Wow. All right. You wonder why I didn't mention Macaulay Culkin.
Bees.
Villard became one of the few actors in Hollywood in the early 1990s who chose to be open about his homosexuality and the challenge of living with HIV and AIDS.
Yeah, it was the bravery that it took for him to do that. So that guy, he had cojones of steel. And,
Yeah.
And, I mean, the guts that this guy had to do this.
In February 1994, Villard made an unprecedented appearance on Entertainment Tonight, acknowledging to
More than 13 million viewers that he was gay, that he had AIDS, and then he needed some help.
Villard said,
An awful lot of people suddenly wouldn't let me in the door for auditions. I started speaking a couple of months ago about living with AIDS and having hope. It feels a little more useful than things I've done in the past.
He also said that since his appearance on Entertainment Tonight, a whole other group of people had come forward to welcome him. Bill Melamed, Villard's manager, added,
I'm particularly proud of him. The reality is, acting is a lousy business. He made a decision that was courageous in any walk of life. But it doesn't surprise me. He has one of the most open spirits. Yeah, you can just see, what a sweetie he is. And nobody ever said anything bad about him.
No.
He's one of the guys that just breaks my heart. He's one of the stories of Hollywood that just makes me sad because he was so talented and
very,
so sweet.
very, very, yeah.
And had such a promising career ahead of him and the courage to do what he did, to put everything on the line for what you believe and what you are. That is something that is extremely rare in this business.
That is true. On November 14th, 1994, 5 days shy of his 41st birthday, Villard died of AIDS-related pneumonia.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. I mean, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of his. He was one of those guys, like I told you, as soon as you see him, you like him. And I would go out of my way if I saw him in something to watch it. I watched The Maid Show. I watched all the stuff that he did because he's just one of those guys that was fun to watch.
Yeah, he was. He totally was. And he was fantastic in One Crazy Summer. He was great in that.
Now the opposite of that.
Jeremy Piven as Ty. Piven made his acting debut in Lucas with Corey Haim, which was actually released earlier in 1986, right before One Crazy Summer. The first night of shooting One Crazy Summer, he got drunk and dove into the shallow end of the hotel swimming pool, cutting open his head.
Now, when I read this the first time, I thought it said he drove into the thing and was like, why wasn't he fired for driving a car into the But it was, he dove.
Apparently, if you pay attention to his first scenes, they put a bunch of plaster and stuff on him because the cut was really bad on his forehead.
He's such a deeb. I'm sorry. I am sorry. There's something about that guy that has always just rubbed me the wrong way. And look, I enjoy him. I enjoy his performance. I love him in
PCU is for me the best thing he's done.
Grosse Pointe Blank. He is so good in Grosse Pointe Blank. I got to give him props for that.
Sure.
And he's an enjoyable guy, and he's talented and whatever.
But he seems like the opposite of Mark Metcalf.
Yeah,
where
and then I've heard
plays
stories.
the douchebag, and he just kind of is.
I think he's been around long enough
not.
I hope not. I mean, maybe he's just an amazing actor. Piven is a big theater actor. He still does a ton of theater. Really talented guy.
Billy Bird was cast as Grandma Calamari. Billy Bird's fantastic. She started her career in 1950. She's most well known for her appearances on the sitcoms It Takes Two and Benson before appearing in 90 episodes of Dear John with Judd Hirsch starting in 1988.
So good. So good.
She's so funny.
No one does the sweet grandmother with the edge like she does, because she comes across as just the sweetest woman with her voice and everything.
Yeah.
This movie, she is one of the best parts. I mean, it's hard to say. They're all the best parts, but I couldn't imagine being able to sit there while she did her whole bit, because she's just so funny.
The scene where she gives them the check at the end apparently took 3 to 4 times as long to shoot because the actors could not keep a straight face during the whole thing.
How could you?
And I want to say that I think Savage Steve Holland kind of milked it, because he definitely held on them for a long time when they were looking at the check.
Oh, that was great. I got it. It was like $14. It was a pretty good price.
Yeah, for 6 people.
Yeah.
Even. Hell yeah. Other notable but brief appearances come from Rich Little as the radio contest DJ.
I mean, you could probably tell because of all the dumb voices that I do. I loved Rich Little as a kid. I was fascinated by impressionists.
Yeah.
My first impression that I ever did was I did Tom Jones, the singer.
Oh, nice.
And my impression was I would sing "What's Up, Pussycat," and then I would have this pearl snap shirt on, and at the end I would rip my shirt open. And I thought, I thought that's what he did. And my mom would trot me out in front of the to do my impersonation. But so he was one of the reasons why I started doing he and Mel Blanc, and that's why I wanted to do voices, because it's just he was incredible.
Yeah,
people don't realize just
crazy talented,
so good at mimicking voices.
Yeah,
I mean, to the point where he did it. He was invited to the White House to do Reagan for Reagan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
his list of impressions, if you go to his Wikipedia page, his list of impressions is like 300 people long.
And
it's crazy.
They would bring him in
to
finish roles for people. Like there was a couple of times, I think, was it David Niven that died and he came in? And,
possibly.
And did David Niven for I think it was one of the Pink Panther movies. I think he had to come in and do the voice. But he had to come in and do voiceover work.
Stuff. Wow, wow, that's crazy. Bruce Wagner is Uncle Frank, who's trying to win the radio contest.
So good. So good.
What are you doing? What are you doing in here? He actually co-wrote A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors.
Nice. Yeah, with your favorite music video.
Yeah, he was a writer. He wrote the book that eventually was made into Maps to the Stars, which was directed by David Cronenberg and starring John Cusack.
Oh, Cusack was in that.
Uh-huh. It still does acting sometimes, but like he is mostly a writer. Like he seems like a very interesting, odd character.
Yeah. Well, he's hilarious. He's one of the best parts. I mean, again, there's no, like I say, everything is one of the best parts.
It's one of the best parts.
It's that one of those movies where it's just best parts.
Everything
is best parts. I can't think of anything in this movie that I didn't like or I didn't think worked.
This is to me a perfect movie.
It's definitely a perfect movie for me. There's nothing I would change. And for something made almost 40 years ago, to be that it's just a testament to how amazingly funny and just, if you want to feel pure joy, watch this movie.
It's so good. Rich Hall is Wilbur, the gas station attendant. He wrote and performed for a series of sketch comedy shows, such as Friday's Not Necessarily the News, popularizing the Sniglet neologism, and Saturday Night Live.
He was great. He was really funny. The Sniglets phenomena. Do you remember the Sniglets?
No.
Sniglets completely took over the world for a while. It was these made-up words to describe things that don't really have a description, like aquadextrous, possessing the ability to turn the bathtub faucet on with your toes. Or cats.
Okay.
Cast Caspers, dead actors who appear on television. Chwads, discarded gum found beneath tables and countertops. So, it was these great little
just
words.
These weird little words that,
Larry, afraid toothbrush. Just stupid stuff like that. Like, it didn't make any sense. But
so weird.
Yeah. And there were books.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was a big. I mean, I think there's a whole Wikipedia page about it.
I'm surprised I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
like,
it was huge.
I'm a huge word nerd, so like that
you'd love
surprises
it.
me.
You should check it out.
All right, I'll have to look that up. Taylor Negron, of course, came in and played the other gas station attendant. They get their tie caught in the window.
That dog is the ugliest dog I've ever seen. Let me put it out of its misery.
But he was in the movie because Taylor Negron was in everything.
As it should be. Taylor Negron is a national treasure that was never appreciated for the worth that it was.
So the animation in the film was directed by Bill Kopp, who previously worked with Savage Steve Holland on Better Off Dead and would later work with him on Eek the Cat.
Again, this is an evolution. The animation stuff in Better Off Dead was funny and great.
Yeah.
But this was just so well integrated into the movie.
Yeah.
Such a great way to kind of move from scene to scene.
Yeah.
And it was used. It's a much better device.
Yeah,
than,
it was much more fleshed out.
Yeah,
And
exactly,
better.
and much more of an integral part of the movie.
Right. Two animators who worked on the film, David Silverman and Wes Archer, would later be directors on The Simpsons and would animate Simpsons shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show with Bill Kopp.
Yeah, it all comes down to The Simpsons, baby.
Yeah. So yes, The Simpsons was heavily influenced by Savage Steve Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lobsters that were dumped in the pool when they decided to get back at at Beckerstead, they threw the lobsters in the pool. They were all real.
That's crazy.
That was 500 lobsters they threw into that pool.
That was a really funny scene, too, when he's, like, in the pool.
And he
swimming.
And he comes out, and it's so obviously fake.
Yeah, and there's one
lobsters.
hanging off of her butt.
Yeah,
and it's just
he
they're running
pulls
down
her
the thing.
in. Yeah, it's funny.
Ow!
There was supposed to be a giant lobster that eats Mark Metcalf after he gets out of the ocean, having been attacked by the rabid dolphin. But Savage Steve Holland thought that it was just too cheesy. Like he couldn't do it.
Well, I think the dolphin made the point. I think that was a
Yeah.
really funny shot from inside of the dolphin's mouth.
So yeah, that's the funny thing. Foam 2, they were shooting Foam 2,
Yep.
spin-off, a takeoff of Jaws. But the rabid dolphin, it's a dolphin with rabies. So I did do the research because I was curious.
Nice.
Can a dolphin get rabies?
Can a dolphin get rabies?
The answer is nobody knows.
Well, then we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna take a rabid something to SeaWorld and throw it in the dolphin container.
Scientifically, because they are mammals, they theoretically can get rabies, but the chance of them being able to get, because rabies is it's a virus. It's just a virus.
Yeah,
There's been one record of a seal getting rabies. That was in Norway in
makes sense.
1980.
They go on land.
Because they were on land. But yeah, it's unknown. But it was funny, and whatever.
Well, the foam movies require a certain amount of suspension of disbelief. I love that it was the sequel that they were making and not the first
Yeah.
one. That is just a nice
Yeah,
touch.
exactly.
It's such a great touch because it's like,
You knew it was going to be bad. It was going to be worse than the original.
oh yeah, and
It
that
was-
the people already had them there, so they're
Yeah.
kind of like, whatever. This stupid thing is always going through.
floating around,
And then
swimming around.
somehow the daughter got a hold of the controls, and she ends up popping out of the
Yeah.
she was the one that ate him.
Ate because he kicked the
He's
dog.
kicked the dog. He kicked
Such a
Bosco.
mean man. Mean man. Two of the fuzzy bunnies, the animated bunnies, were modeled after Siskel and Ebert.
Nice. Fuzzy bunnies are hilarious, by
They
the
were
way.
so funny. They actually, Siskel and Ebert panned Better Off Dead, so Savage Steve Holland decided to put them into the movie and blow them up.
Nice. Which they needed a comeuppance.
They definitely did.
They were sitting on thrones they didn't earn.
I don't think they reviewed this movie, so I don't know what their reaction was to this.
Well, they probably didn't even know.
Yeah. The animal hospital scene was shot because it was raining outside. They literally were like, well, we can't shoot the outdoor stuff, so they ran in and dressed it in 10 minutes. And Savage Steve Holland needed some kind of joke because it was just the actors talking about,
Bosco.
sadness. He's like, well, we got to do something. So he randomly asked the production for a dog pushing a cat, and within an hour, they had a dog pushing a cat on set.
From where?
I don't
This is in
know.
Nantucket.
I don't know, but they did it.
One of the 15,000 people that live on Nantucket had trained a dog to push a baby carriage with the
cat,
I love
yeah.
America.
But the best part is if you hear Curtis Armstrong and Bobcat Goldthwait talking about it, he was like, he decided not to end the scene with the dog pushing the cat. They started with it, and it's one take of the cat, and then they pan over to the actors, and these poor guys had to sit there for like 30 seconds while this dog pushed the cat and not laugh because it was a sad scene.
I know. Man, I wish I was in this movie. It would have been
my
so much
God.
fun
It
to
was
make
so
this
much fun to
movie.
work on. Savage Steve Holland actually showed the movie to Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. He wanted them to write a theme for the movie. Brian Wilson responded after seeing the movie,
There's no palm trees in this.
and then he walked out of the screening.
Man, this is why I hate the Beach
I
Boys.
included this just for you, Jim.
There's no palm trees.
Mike Love and some of the other Beach Boys' reaction was,
It's too foggy.
yeah, it's like they were like, it's a beach movie, but there's no palm trees and it's foggy. Like they couldn't wrap their head around it.
It's not foggy, idiots. It's all the pot smoke in the room.
The movie went through a number of name changes. It started with My Summer Vacation, then My Nantucket Summer, and then Greetings from Nantucket. Before
Nothing rolls off the tongue like my Nantucket summer.
Savage Steve Holland actually was not a fan of the final title, One Crazy Summer, but it's since grown on him. He actually wanted to do a sequel called One Epic Fall with Bobcat, Joel, and Curtis playing different characters.
Nice.
Savage Steve wanted to take another crack at shooting in Nantucket, and the autumn is gorgeous there, but Warner Brothers owns the rights to One Crazy Summer, and they will never, ever do a sequel, according to Savage Steve Holland.
Why?
He just said, apparently he's inquired, and they decided no.
What?
Well, the movie only made $13 million off a $9 million budget, so I think they decided that his magic was gone.
Well, he's not asking them to bankroll it. He's just asking for the rights to make it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay, guys, hi. I just want to.
So Bob, what's the deal?
Well, the movie didn't make a lot of money, so we don't like him. And that's basically it. If your movie doesn't make a lot of money, we don't like you, and we don't want to do anything to make your life any better than it is.
I guess that's an easy way to live your life, I guess.
That's easy for me.
Yeah. It's sad. Savage Steve Holland directed one more feature during this time, How I Got Into College, but then he focused on animation.
Did you see that?
I have not seen How I Got... Oh, well, that's not true. I want to say I saw it a long time ago. I barely remember it. He did a lot of animation for a while, Savage Steve Holland did, and then he wrote and directed for Nickelodeon. He wrote 6 episodes of Kenan and Kel.
Nice.
He directed 3 episodes of Even Stevens. He directed 9 episodes of Lizzie McGuire. He directed 11 episodes and the 1-hour series finale of Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, among many others. He's got a long history of working with Nickelodeon.
Don't know these. You know what's weird too is that the other guy from Better Off Dead, he did a lot of Nickelodeon stuff too. I wonder if they crossed paths.
Is that possibly? Very possibly. He's now working on Malibu Rescue for Netflix, which started as a movie, then became a series, and now has a second movie, which was released in 2020.
Did you see this?
I did not, and I need to watch them because he directed all of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely.
So I definitely going to have to check out Malibu Rescue.
Huge fan of Savage Steve Holland.
Yeah.
Watching this movie the other night, I really think that this might be my go-to movie just to feel good.
Yeah.
I was in, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was in a really bad mood.
Yeah.
A couple of days because I'm a moody little cur, but I was just in a bad mood. And sue me, everyone, get off my back.
Nope, nobody's saying anything, Jim.
Go fight you. No, but I was in a bad mood, and it instantly faded away as soon as the credits started on this movie. I know this movie so well that it is like putting on the most comfortable sweater, or the greatest, softest blanket, and having the most chocolatey cup of hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say, this movie is pure comfort for me. And I did not check my phone once when this movie was on. I laughed out loud constantly. And it's just, look, you may not like it. That's fine. You have no taste. But this is one of those movies that I don't think is just saw it at the time. Like a Hot Pursuit.
No, agreed.
You know?
Agreed.
A Hot Pursuit is not a great movie, but it served a purpose for me, which makes it near and dear to my heart. But I know deep down that it's not a great movie.
Right.
But this movie is a great movie.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. And, you know, the fact that you love it, I think even did Phoebe like it?
Phoebe liked it, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and that Phoebe's kind of our bellwether because, you know, she's got really good taste, but she's also very discerning.
Yeah.
And she's not just going to like something for liking it.
Right.
So if you got Phoebe's seal of approval on this,
true.
then you should definitely watch it. Anyway, look, I could go on for hours about this movie if you let me. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and see it. It's funny watching it again because it's been a while, and I said, well, it's basically Better Off Dead with the regatta. You know, you take the regatta and you replace that with the. It's not true. It's not true at all. It's a completely different movie. There's a theme, beating the rich guys. That's fine.
It's a movie. It has to have a plot.
But it wasn't just Cusack. It was the whole group of misfits coming together and beating the norms.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love so much. Here's a spoiler. Sorry, but when they pop off they blow the hatch and they've got the Teddy's engine.
Yeah.
Teddy's reaction to that is brilliant because in any other film, he would have been like, "Oh, that's my car!" and screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
And he just looks at it and just goes. They're like, "What is that?" And he just looks at it and says, "That's my car."
Because he knows he was defeated.
Yes.
That was it. They beat him.
Yes, and that is brilliant right there.
Yeah.
Humble him because he does try to steal the
Sure.
trophy at the end. And then William Hickey comes up and says, friendship is the best thing you could ever have. But it's those little moments that make this a masterpiece of comedy.
It's such a brilliant movie, and it's great. And I was able to find, down at Amoeba Records, down here in Hollywood, I was able to find an out-of-print first edition DVD, sealed, still sealed.
Nice.
So they're out there.
But definitely watch it. You're going to love it. You're going to love everybody in it. And it's going to make you want to watch everything that Savage Steve Holland has done. And it's going to warm the cockles of your heart.
All right, we'll be back next week with a Stepdad show. All right, we'll see you next week.
Bada boob.
Demi co-wrote 3 songs with Demi. God damn. All right.
Cat scrapers. Dead actors who appear on television. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Cast. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Cast Caspers. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. She's the Sheriff, already in progress.